Judaism is the truth. It is the reality of the world.
Here's why Hinduism is perfect for the modern world.
Islam is the true religion because we were...
The reason that we believe Christianity is true is because the answer to 4 questions is...
And why is Sikhi the truth? It covers every angle, scientifically, in terms of historic...
5 voices, 5 different faiths, each convinced that they hold the ultimate truth. But can they all be right? Or is it something deeper at play here? Something about how we think rather than what we think. In a world full of loud convictions, how do we think clearly, question deeply, and arrive at the truth, not just echo what we've been told? In the Bite Size today, we'll look into the power and necessity of critical thinking, how to train our brain to think clearly and arrive at the truth. Watch the video till the end. If you are seeking clarity in the core concepts, fundamental principles, and basic beliefs of all religions, history and philosophy, you have come to the right place. Welcome to my channel, History, Religion and Philosophy Bite Size. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Do you think your thoughts are truly your own? From the moment we are born, we are shaped by our parents, schools, media, and the invisible forces of culture and social norms. Subtle psychological triggers guide our beliefs and behaviors, often without us realizing it. Most of the time, we are following patterns, not making conscious choices. That's where critical thinking comes in. It's the ability to step back, question the narrative, and dissect the assumption we have inherited. It challenges the automatic and exposes the artificial. Critical thinking is how we reclaim our minds by thinking clearly, questioning deeply, and choosing deliberately. In a world built to program us, it's the most powerful form of rebellion. In today's video, I'm going to teach you step-by-step approach to untrain your brain from the conditioning that's been wired in since childhood. I'll share powerful tools to help you break free from the shackles of indoctrination and start thinking for yourself, boldly, clearly, and independently. The purpose of the bite-sized videos is to break down complex concepts into simple and easy to understand narrations. It requires a lot of effort and research. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share so we can spread the message as much as possible. Our minds love shortcuts. These shortcuts are called cognitive biases, and they quietly distort how we think, believe and behave. Let's start with confirmation bias. We cling to beliefs we were raised with, religious or political, and only seek information which reinforces our pre-existing beliefs. If we were taught that our religion is the only truth and our political side is always right, we will naturally dismiss anything that challenges it. Truth becomes selective. The second bias is the anchoring effect. The first idea we hear become our mental baseline. If you grow up hearing that a certain party is evil or that questioning religious texts is blasphemy, those anchors can blind you to nuance, even when the facts change. The third is the availability heuristics. This skews our reality. If we are told that a certain part of a group is evil or manipulative, we start to believe the whole group is dangerous just because those are the stories we see most. Visibility becomes bias. The fourth one is the groupthink. The pressure to conform. In religious or political circles, questioning the group can get you labeled as a traitor. So people stay silent. The result, collective ignorance disguised as unity. These biases don't just shape how we think, they shape what we think. But once we learn to spot them, we begin to reclaim our mind. Once you have learned to recognize biases in your thinking, the next crucial step in critical thinking is developing the ability to ask questions, especially the uncomfortable ones. It begins with a simple yet powerful inquiry. What if I am wrong? What if the beliefs I've held all my life, the narratives I've been taught, are flawed or incomplete? This kind of skepticism isn't about doubting everything for the sake of it. It's about striving for the truth. When you cultivate the habit of asking questions, the rest of critical thinking naturally follows. Our brains are wired for what psychologists call cognitive ease. We tend to trust ideas that are familiar, emotionally charged, or easy to process. That's why it's so tempting to accept information that feels good or confirm what we already believe. But true critical thinking demands effort. It means resisting the comfort of passive acceptance and daring to ask what, why, how, again and again and again. Questioning others, when done respectfully and with genuine curiosity, is just as important. It's not about winning arguments, it's about uncovering truth. Avoid echo chambers, those intellectual bubbles where you only hear what you already agree with. Step outside them. Seek out opposing viewpoints, not to attack them, but to understand them. If you are a Muslim, read about Judaism. If you are a socialist, explore capitalism. If you are conservative, read liberal perspective and vice versa. Read with humility, with openness. Ask yourself, what if they have a point? What if I've been wrong? That's where real growth begins. Now that you're not afraid to question anymore, let me introduce the concept of logic versus emotion. We all like to believe that we are free thinkers guided by reason and independent thought. But in reality, much of what we consider free will is a sense of self that's been programmed into us. It's not entirely our own. From an early age, society shapes our beliefs, our values, our identities, not to encourage critical thinking, but to ensure conformity and order. The media knows this. It doesn't appeal to our logic. It targets our emotions. It amplifies our fears, flatters our insecurities, and rewards our vices. It thrives on outrage, scandal, and the pursuit of instant gratification. Why? Because emotions drive engagement. Controversy and fear are addictive, and we are drawn to them. That's why it's crucial to separate emotion from logic. When faced with an issue, a news story, a book, a concept, ask yourself, is this my emotion talking or my reason? Are my choices being shaped by fear, anger, desire, or by thoughtful analysis? Skepticism is essential. Don't just accept what you're told. Look for evidence. Question the narrative. Apply the principle of falsification. Can this claim be proven wrong? If not, it may not be grounded in truth. Practice playing devil's advocate. Challenge your assumption and always remember emotions like anger, fear, ecstasy, envy, resentment, distrust, and hatred can cloud judgment. They blur the line between what we feel and what's actually true. If we want to get closer to the truth, we have to step back, slow down, and let reason lead the way. Now that you have detached your emotions from logic, let's talk about some mental shortcuts, a concept that destroys critical thinking. First one is overconfidence bias. This is a mistaken belief that being smart inherently leads to better choices. In reality, intelligent people are often just as susceptible, if not more so, to making poor decisions. Why? Because they place too much faith in their own reasoning and truth-seeking abilities. This confidence can blind them to alternative perspectives and cause them to overlook important information that contradict their views. The second one is stereotyping. another major obstacle to critical thinking. Stereotyping occurs when we make sweeping judgments about an entire group based on preconceived notions or the actions of a few. It reduces individuals to a single narrative, often rooted in misinformation or bias. Both overconfidence and stereotyping undermine our ability to think clearly and fairly. Critical thinking demands that we slow down, question ourselves, and resist easy answers. The final and perhaps most important aspect of critical thinking is the ability to recognize fallacies in your logic, the logical fallacies. Logical fallacies are flawed or misleading arguments often presented during discussions or debates, whether intentionally or unintentionally. They can derail productive dialogue and obscure the truth. Take the straw man fallacy for example. Imagine you argue that science should be introduced early in primary education. Instead of addressing your actual point, your opponent responds, "So you want to eliminate religious education?" This misrepresents your argument, attacking a distorted version of it rather than what you actually said. Logical fallacies like these, whether they stem from misunderstanding, bias, or manipulation, undermine critical thinking. They encourage shallow reasoning and prevent genuine exploration of ideas. I have created a full video that dives deeper into logical fallacies. If you watched today's video and consider yourself a critical thinker, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.